Hey friends, welcome to the channel. Sean here. Hey, happy Euro Cup game day today for Germany. So I've got my jersey on again for this video, which is probably the first time I've had the same t-shirt on for 2 videos in a row. So big historic moment for this channel. Anyway, if you're new here, my name is Sean and I do personal finance and investing topics on this channel. So if you like that stuff, please consider subscribing. I kind of cover individual stocks, do stock comparisons, and then I look at, accounts that you might hold and how to maximize your value out of those accounts. So today I wanted to just talk about Airbnb. It was one of my most favorite and excited about IPOs for 2020. It was unfortunate that last year it kind of did what other IPOs did and kind of blew up into prices that I just could not justify buying. So I've kind of been holding off investing in this particular stock. Now, full disclosure, I did buy one share at $195 just to, scratch that itch and move on with my life. But now that the stock has come down, I just thought, hey, let's look at this again and see if it's worth buying. So 2020 was pretty hard on basically any business that was in the travel industry. And I've made a couple of videos about Airbnb already, which I'll flash through in this video. And they kind of explain why I was so bullish on the stock. However, Airbnb, along with other high-flying stocks, have experienced some downward pressure in the last couple of months. And now Airbnb is down from its high of $219, sitting at $147 USD. The lowest we saw was actually in mid-December when it was at $125 a share. So it's up a little bit from that low. So if we are thinking that maybe we are over the hype and over the hump, or over the hype hump, or the hype hump, is this new price a good price to buy Airbnb? Well, let's get into it. So I'm going to jump into the fundamentals, then go to a look ahead, and then kind of do some takeaways to wrap up this video. But there are outside influences that are affecting the stock price of Airbnb for sure. But part of the reason of this decline has got to be also from the recent reported earnings of this company. Pre-pandemic, Airbnb was profitable, and that's one of the things that made it very attractive, but it hasn't really been since. Now, the stock did return to kind of like an upward trajectory in revenues this last quarter, but all through 2020, it was suffering pretty bad. And we all know why, because while people were maybe, booking Airbnbs for short road trips and that kind of thing, overall travel was down, and therefore, Airbnb rentals are down. But for this quarter, revenues have increased. They are up 5% year over year. And remember, that was from Q1 of 2020, just before kind of the pandemic started to take effect. They're also up 6% from 2 years ago. Earnings have also improved greatly, and they've been in the negatives, but they're not as far in the negatives as they were for most of 2020. Now here's where you start to want to use your price to sales ratio and things like that to kind of look at the fundamentals of a stock and see whether it's worth a buy. Well, the PS ratio for this company is still 27, which is quite high when you consider that most S&P companies, or the average of an S&P listed company, is about 3.1. So what that means is that people are valuing this company for a lot higher, and it's quite expensive considering how much money it actually makes off of the sales of its product, off of its rentals. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad investment. What it means is that should you choose to invest in Airbnb, you're kind of saying, okay, what I'm expecting the company to do is improve its top line, improve its sales, and bring that P to E ratio down, essentially. So if you invest in it, you're kind of saying, okay, well, will they do that? And if they do that, other investors will come along, buy up this share, and the price should increase. Sorry, before I keep going, guys, just a reminder to hit that like button if you guys are finding this useful or the information is helping you guys out. It really help the channel and get this video out to more people. So that brings me to my look ahead. So what is Airbnb up to right now? Well, they're spending most of their time trying to get themselves in a good position to really take advantage of the return of travel when it comes, which is, hopefully very soon. Because I'll tell you what, I need a vacation. Now, the other thing that's worth noting is that this whole illness and the work from home thing has kind of accelerated technological adoption by people, experts say about 6 years. And what that means is that more companies have probably realized now they don't need a brick and mortar office to get their work done. So with that, I feel that Airbnb thinks that a lot of people are going to start, maybe booking some time away from home and even being able to do their work outside of their house, and therefore, booking some long-term rentals with Airbnb and doing their work from there. Why wouldn't you go to Hawaii, work for a couple of weeks, and then take a week off to actually, take a vacation? Seems pretty sweet to me. So there are some stats to kind of back this up. Airbnb said in their last investor call that long-term stays, so stays that are more than 28 days, were up 10% to 24% of their overall bookings. And roughly half the stays are actually 7 days or longer. Now that kind of begs the question, why would people choose Airbnb over a stay like hotel or those types of options? Well, if I were to do a long-term stay, I kind of thought about this and I said, well, I wouldn't really want a hotel room. I would want kind of my own kitchen. I want to be able to save a little bit of money, maybe by cooking my own meals, my own breakfast, etc. It's more comfortable. It would suck because I would give up room service. It's probably my favorite thing about hotels, but overall, I'd probably opt for the Airbnb. Airbnb also reported a 52% increase in bookings for the rest of this year. So as long as we don't hit another wave here and we can follow through on those bookings, that stands to make Airbnb a lot of money. And I would assume that you'll see these numbers improve, as time goes on. Now, the other advantage Airbnbs sort of give you, and we're seeing an increase in prices for these types of rentals, but you can basically rent out your cabin in the mountains, a place where hotels probably can't give you access to because they usually are set up in cities. Well, Airbnb appeals to a lot of travelers who want to go off the beaten path and set up in the woods or set up on the beaches or whatever it is in those remote locations and those specific niche type of experiences that people go for. So hotels can't really compete there, and actually as a result, Airbnb and VRBO are seeing an increase in cost to rent those types of places, which again, is kind of a nice feature of Airbnb because they'll stand to make money off those types of getaways as well. So here are the takeaways. So while fundamentally the price decrease of Airbnb still doesn't really justify it and turning it into a buy, it's definitely maybe more of a hold. The outlook, however, for Airbnb is positive, and Airbnb has added over 100 improvements to its apps and site to make the experience better for consumers and kind of getting itself in position to take advantage of the return to travel. Now here, Airbnb needs to really focus on delivering on its bookings and decreasing its loss on earnings to claw back some of that profitability. And right now, analysts don't think that it will be profitable or have positive earnings, I should say, in Q2, but maybe later this year. So while I still hold on to my one kind of FOMO stock there, I'm going to be watching this in the next quarter or two to see if there would be a good entry point to build a bit of a position in Airbnb. Right now, it's kind of a watch list type of stock, but I think that it does still have that potential to grow and be that disruptor that I really want it to be. So essentially, is Airbnb a buy? Maybe soon, maybe right now, depending on your situation, but it's definitely one I would say could become a buy in the short term. Cool, friends. Well, it is game time. That is all I have. I hope you guys have learned something. Please remember to hit that like button if this video was helpful. Otherwise, have yourselves a great week. Spread the wealth. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.